Hey, beautiful, and how are you doing this week? Welcome to the Made for Influence podcast. I am your host, Juliet Olabanji, and I am glad that you're here. Before we go any further, I believe that I owe it to you to apologize because I have missed 2 episodes, and it is not my intention, but I have also been doing other things on the side that have consumed a lot of my time. And it's just good to start with that and have my hands up and be honest. Girl, I know that you haven't seen me on your feed. The notification didn't pop up in the last 2 weeks, but I am back here. As we wrap up this season, I do want to say that I appreciate you for listening, for sharing, for taking actions on the things that we've talked about. I see you and I know that your effort counts because everything that you do towards your goals, towards your vision, and towards the legacy that you're building counts. It compounds. So I see you, girl. And on the other note about what I've been building, I have been building a house for rooted productivity. Rooted productivity is the IP and the framework that God blessed me with to share with people on how to build sustainably without burnout. If you don't know, there is the physical aspect of rooted productivity, which is the planner. Now, how do we bring the planner to life and how do people actually take actions daily that it's not just, I got this planner and now I have to figure it out on my own. And that is why I have built the execution room. It's called the ER. A little nice play on words. The ER. The ER is a place where ambitious people in transition, people that need a system, people that need structure to what they are building, come and plan and build and meet together with like-minded people that are also in a phase of building. Everyone is building towards something. This is what the ER is for. And the ER is a monthly subscription of $40. This is the cost of 3 Starbucks run in a month. So put that aside and invest this towards the execution of your goal. This is not just a room whereby we give you the tools, the resources. No, we meet weekly to plan and we plan your week. We also do quarterly planning. We have milestones, we have calls, and we have a lot more resources. I am the lead facilitator. However, you're not only going to be learning from me, you're also going to be learning from people such as my mentors, people that have led high scale execution, high scale products that are in corporate America, that are building 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, how they build their system and how they execute. And I cannot wait for you to meet people from different walks of life, whether it is a white man in corporate, a white woman in executive role in corporate, a young man from Africa building 8-figure businesses, not just for himself, but for other people. The ER is open, and this is your invite to come on in. It is time for you to build sustainably for a legacy level impact. Now, let's get on to today's episode. Today's episode is a topic that I know might be a little sensitive for some people. It's something that we experience but we hide because there's been shame attached to it. So today we're going to break it all up, we're going to chop it all up, and we're going to bring it back together because I have found some helpful tools that I used and I believe that they would be helpful for you as well. Today I am talking about the antidote to comparison. I remember years ago, I was driving on the highway with my friend and she was driving. We just came back from the car dealership. She was about to purchase a luxury vehicle. And at that time, I was coming out of a really low season, lowest of the low, from someone that really never had to struggle. I hit rock bottom. And I was just coming out of that rock bottom and transitioning into a more steady and stable life. She at that season was starting to enjoy and reap the reward of the hard work commitment and putting her head to the ground for however long she had to. And we went to the dealership together. I was thinking maybe it's time for me to just move to this new state, and I was exploring, and it was a nice idea of being young, no responsibility, being in a state whereby you're free to just express yourself amongst other young professionals. And I remember as we were driving, coming from the dealership, she was excited, and I was genuinely excited for her. And a split second, I started comparing myself. Why this? Oh, I wish this. And then I caught myself. What was that? And why did that happen? I didn't really have an answer in the moment. However, what I did was I switched gear. I reaffirmed myself, girl, you're just coming out of this season and you've done extremely well. You did not stay there. You didn't have self-pity and self-deprecating thoughts. You fought your way out. Now it's time to be happy for your friend. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she noticed my mood change. She never said anything because she was driving, focused on the road. But I had these thoughts in my head, and I had to switch gears because that girl, I was very appreciative of her. I still am. And I genuinely had love for her. Although I genuinely had love for her, I had love for everything that she did and she was doing. And I believe that at that point, I was one of our biggest champions. These thoughts did not refrain from coming into my head. I had to reorient myself to say, no. I have my own journey. She has her own journey. So I'm not going to compare my now to her now because we had different paths. That was an instance of self-comparison. There was another time where I was at my sister's house. And this was also when I was now balancing myself after a rock bottom season. And the thoughts came to my head, how your sister is better than you. Your sister is doing good. Why are you still here? Why are you not this? Why are you not that? And I'm like, okay, this is my sister. I'm definitely happy for her. Why are these thoughts coming into my head? I couldn't really put my finger on it. For this one particularly, there was an aspect of shame that came with it. This is my blood sister. I am a biggest champion. Listen, my sister is more quieter and I'm more outgoing. You mess with her, I'll tackle you down. Don't play with me. I'm safe now. But still, don't play with my sister. I'm safe, but don't play with my sister or anyone that I love. All right, I digress. This is my sister. So I'm like, why are these thoughts coming to me? And I think that because I couldn't immediately beat down that thought, it tended to linger than the one that I had of the friend that I was driving with, because I felt shame. So I withdrew myself because I'm like, let me go deal and sort out my own emotions and feelings, and I can come back because this is my sister. She's not going anywhere. I need to get myself together. But contrary to what I thought would happen, those thoughts continued, and they actually festered longer than I would have hoped or than I expected. And that really taught me a lot when it comes to self-comparison. Prior to me hitting rock bottom, I don't think there was a moment where I ever compared myself to someone. Sure, there are times where I'm like, oh, I would love to have that. Oh, or I'm just going to get that because I saw it on someone. But there was never an active thought of, I'm comparing myself. I'm, so small compared to this person, or I made myself feel so small compared to this person. But during my rock bottom season and transition season, I felt smaller, and I had to reorient myself from smallness, from thoughts about me not being enough, from thoughts of why not me, from thoughts of things that I didn't have to deal with before. Now that I'm in a different season of life, I deal with a different type of comparison, and these are based on my aspirations. They're not like, oh, I want that clothes or I want that monetary things. They are big dream desires that I see other people accomplishing. But now I have the toolkit to help me navigate that whenever it tries to overtake me. Because comparison is a natural phenomenon. It will come. It just depends on how you acknowledge it and how you get past it. So before we get into the toolkit and the antidote that I told you I had for comparison, I want us to talk about the cause of comparison. From my experience, and whenever I see comparison surface from other people, I notice one thing in particular consistently. It's like a thread. And whatever else lays on this thread is just a surface level. When we go back to the origin, I see this same cause. No matter how you try to put it, the cause of comparison is lower perception of self-worth. Again, the origin of any type of comparison is the lower perception of self-worth. Notice how I did not say low self-worth. I emphasized on perception, because you see people that are wealthy that also fall in this trap of comparison. You see people that seemingly look great. They have the etiquette, they have the social status, they have the eminence, they have the titles, they have the money, yet there still seems to be something missing, because the perception of what they have, the perception of their worth, the perception of their value is different, is low, according to how they see themselves. So the root to any sort of comparison is lower perception of self-worth. Lower perception of self-worth has two minions, shows up in two different ways. They are the lack of self-acknowledgement and scarcity mindsets. Wherever you see lower perception of self-worth, you would see lack of self-acknowledgement and you will see scarcity mindset, or maybe either or. It could be either or, it could be both. Let's talk about lower perception of self-worth. A quick Google definition of self-worth is the intrinsic belief that you are inherently valuable, lovable, and deserving of respect, entirely independent of your achievements, external validation, or circumstances. Self-worth is the internal establishment of a lot of the things that we do, or how a lot of the things that we do come out. The understanding of your self-worth is the foundation of every existence. Is what you carry into the room. It is what you exude. It is the energy that you emanate when you talk to whether a president or you talk to a cobbler, whether you talk to a fashion designer or you talk to a fashion house director. It is an unshaken understanding of what you carry, your intrinsic value, outside of your title, outside of your roles, outside of whatever would bring you status and validation. So if there is a shaky foundation of your self-worth, or you don't understand the weight, or you don't put weight on that worth, there is no way that you would not feel comparison. Don't confuse self-worth to self-esteem. Self-esteem is more so how you feel about your traits, your skills, your accomplishments. They are the things that esteem you. Self-worth is the unconditional knowing that you are a person of value. So whenever there is a mismatch in your understanding of your self-worth and how you exude it, you would always compare yourself. You would always think someone is better than you. And that is why I believe that wherever you see a lower perception of self-worth, you would always see a lack of self-acknowledgement. When you don't acknowledge yourself, you cannot expect other people to acknowledge you. Or maybe they do acknowledge you, but all you think about and the lens that you filter the world through is that of lack of self-acknowledgement, lack of self-worth. A lot of the time, when people compare themselves to others, the things that draw their attention to comparing themselves to that person is idiosyncratic. You cannot compare yourself to someone else's uniqueness and lived experience and desire to have gotten that. Let me put it like this. There is no reason why you compare yourself to someone. It's just an exhausting mental hurdle. If we are to go by natural law, there's no way you are reaping something you did not sow. The cumulative action of that person got them that thing that you desire. And because you haven't done the exact same thing in that exact same sequence or something similar, you can't get that. So this is why comparison is an exhausting mental hurdle. It's like wishing to get something that you didn't work for, hoping that it's you, but it's not you. Whenever you compare yourself to someone, you dismiss what is in front of you about yourself, usually. There is a lack of self-acknowledgement, usually whenever people bathe themselves in comparison. There is not an open recognition and honor of their own experiences, emotions, and personal growth. All of this foster your deepening of self-worth. So wherever there is self-acknowledgement, you openly praise and affirm yourself. You honor your own experiences. You believe that you are on your own growth. That is an open conversation for multiple possibilities of growth. Because when you're comparing yourself, it's a closed conversation. Oh, I wish I had this. Oh, this person is this and I can't do this. And then it closes you off. It corners you. It entraps you. But when you have self-acknowledgement, it opens up the conversation. There are multiple directions that you can go. And then there is a sense of hope that you're going to get on your journey. Whether the end result will be what you desire in what you're seeing or not. So we've talked about self-worth or the lower perception of self-worth. We've talked about lack of self-acknowledgement. The last thing I want to touch on is scarcity mindset. A lot of the time when people compare themselves with others, there is a desire that exists. Whatever they see is telling them that I desired this. Why is this happening to them and not for me? And because it is happening for them, there may be limited or there may be a limit to which I'm able to get mine. The world does not work like that. The world actually exists in an endless vastness of riches, of knowledge. Whatever it is, that is a good thing. It is a lot of it. Scarcity is a man-made concept. It is not real. At least that's my belief. Whenever you are in comparison, you want to make sure that you are not opening yourself to a scarcity mindset because, oh, this person have this thing or this person have that thing, then it's one less for me. Or I may not be able to get it. Or it's going to then make it harder for me to get it. Why am I working so hard, but it happens for them? Comparison always measures the surface of someone else's journey to the fullness of your own journey. And that is not a fair measure. When you have a lower perception of self-worth, there is a lack of self-acknowledgement. You live in a scarcity mindset. What naturally comes is a distancing from the people that you love that make you feel uncomfortable because you are experiencing comparison. What you then experience also can be withdrawal. You withdraw back into something that seems comfortable, something that doesn't challenge you, something that is comforting to you. Maybe sometimes if it's a comparison on social media, you may say, oh, I'm going to log out for some time. While that is good, and I recommend actually taking breaks from social media from time to time, understand that if you are dealing with something far more sinister, such as comparison, that is not going to be the antidote for it. Eventually, once you log back in, you start seeing content again, you're still going to have to deal with it. If you say, oh, I'm just going to pull back, I need time to myself because this friend, I'm comparing myself, maybe it's going to subside. But then eventually, when your friend has good news or your sister has good news or someone you look up to has good news, then you start feeling comparison again. Withdraw, distancing yourself, falling back. All of these are just band-aids. They don't really cure comparison. They don't help in the long term. So now I'm going to share with you tools that are helpful that don't just deal with comparison, but also help you reorient yourself when it comes to the identity work that will stand strong in the face of comparison. The first, which you can probably guess, is reaffirming yourself, reaffirming your journey. When I experienced this, even though I was coming from a very hard season, I had to reaffirm myself. I had to tell myself and remind myself that it's not just about this moment, it's about everything that I have gone through. A lot of people stay in their rock bottom and they don't make it back to the top. A lot of people kill themselves with self-pity. A lot of people don't even see life worth living after things don't go their way. What are those things that you have as nuggets in your back pockets? You have to constantly have a jar. I had an old computer. On that wallpaper, I have something that says cookie jar. The concept of the cookie jar comes from, at least I know that concept from reading David Goggins. I read Can't Hurt Me in 2022. And so the 2023, I made this collage and it's a cookie jar. It's a mental resilience jar of things that will get you through hard times. It could be physically hard times, mentally hard times, emotionally hard times. So you have a jar, and you can even make it physical jar whereby you have pieces of paper, you roll it, put it in that. When times get hard, you pick one up. That's a cookie jar. So I have this collage and I have the cookie jar. So when things get a little rough or I have to remind myself, I look at the picture and then memories of things or thoughts or accomplishments will come back to me. Get yourself a cookie jar. So you want to reaffirm yourself. Whenever the comparison comes, what are those things that you can dip your hand in your cookie jar to take? What is that thing that you can say, yes, I appreciate you and I love that you are doing whatever you're doing. I aspire to do even better things, greater things in my own future. But for now, brain, mind, this is our reality. The brain is quick to look for evidence for the things that you desire, but you haven't done the work. The brain is very lazy. So it would find ways to get dopamine without actually working for that dopamine. So I want you to reaffirm yourself in the journey. Don't be overly consumed by what everyone else is doing, that you forget what you've done, that you forget what you're working on, that you forget that your own way is right here and not over here. Your way is here. So don't look over here, because if you keep looking over here, but you're walking this way, you're going to get tripped up and the fall is going to be brutal. All right, that is antidote number 1. Antidote number 2 is questions. I love when I ask questions. I love it even more when I ask myself questions, because it helps to balance my mind. It helps to balance my brain. My brain is looking for answers to the question. Ask yourself this question: why do you want what they have? Because usually when you compare yourself, there is a desire to own, to possess, to live that life, or to own that thing, or to be that person. So you want to ask yourself, why do you want what they have? Why does this lifestyle appeal to me? Why do I desire what this person is doing? What would change if you have those things? If you become that person? If you cannot really answer these questions, then you need to know that that is covetousness. If you are delaying your answer and you cannot give boom, 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 that is covetousness. If you're able to answer these things, that is a signal to you that you're living below your potential, because there is an innate desire for you to become better. The most logical people don't compare themselves to things worse off. They compare themselves to things better than them. So if you're able to answer the results, the desires, the why behind why you want these things that you're comparing yourself to. And if they are good things, it might be a desire for you to enlarge your capacity, for you to do according to what will give you a similar result. But if you cannot, and you just desire it, but you're not willing to do the work, you're not willing to exercise the discipline, you're not really willing to dedicate yourself, that is covetousness. The last antidote that I'm going to give you, which is also the strongest antidote, I think that was a little dramatic, but the last antidote I am going to give you, saving the best for last. This one, you got to pay me for this, but it's a double-edged sword. The last antidote and the best antidote to comparison is the elevation of consciousness through the delivery of value. So what do I mean by this? Whenever there is a feeling of comparison, especially to someone that you know, someone in your network, someone in your immediate community, if you cannot immediately elevate your own consciousness of self, it's going to be hard because these people are in your circle. So what do I mean to elevate your self-consciousness through value delivery? Whenever the feeling of comparison comes knocking, especially towards someone that is in your immediate circle, your community, your network, someone that you cannot really avoid and you would still like to be around, what you want to do is, one, acknowledge and affirm your own worth, affirm your own journey. And two, you want to look for ways to deliver value. When you haven't gotten to that mature state of self-worth and identity, you tend to be shaken when you think about what other people are celebrating. And because it's an highlight, the brain automatically puts you beneath them. It makes you feel irrelevant in that moment. And that is a lie, because just because someone else is being celebrated does not make you irrelevant. You may not be irrelevant in that context, but you are still relevant as a person. So the person being celebrated and the thing that they are celebrating does not diminish your value, your accomplishment, the things that you hold and possess as a person. And that is what comparison comes for. So how do you combat it? Again, you acknowledge your journey, you acknowledge your self-worth, and then you look for something within you that can deliver value to the person. Yes, to that person. If your friend is doing good, maybe in business, or they hit a milestone, or maybe they are starting a new business and you've been trying to start your own business, but you have skills that can help them. Maybe is having people in your network that you can connect them to. Let me connect you with this person. Oh, actually, I can help you with that. I'm really good at this. I haven't done it in a couple of years. I'm a little rusty. What a lot of people do instead is shy away from offering their value because they feel like that person has enough. That person got enough already. Why would I have to offer the little that I have to this person? Scarcity mindset, laziness, dismissal of self, lack of self-acknowledgement. Because you not doing that is you unconsciously telling yourself that I have nothing of value to offer this person. I have nothing to add to this person. Why should I give them more when they are already being celebrated or when they already have things going for them? That does way more hurt to your mentality. That does a lot of damage to your sense of self-worth than it does to the person you're adding to. What I'm teaching you right now, if you understand it and you apply it, is brain hacking. You are hacking your brain. Rather than you falling back and withdrawing, what you're doing is pushing yourself into that situation, causing exposure and increasing your sense of value, destroying and detaching things that invalidates your self-worth. When you do the opposite of what I'm telling you, it lowers your self-worth. It allows the emotions to linger, and you will again have to deal with this comparison. whether it's to that same person or to other people. You will forever be self-conscious. However, if you seek to elevate self-consciousness through the delivery of value, what you're telling yourself is, your accomplishment does not threaten me. I don't have a scarcity mindset. You can have 1,000 and I will still give you 100. And you have 1,100 and maybe I have 500. That still does not make me less of a person. Once your value of self increase and you do this enough time and time, inevitably, you will elevate yourself. You are going to, have you ever seen some people that they're just so confident? It's not like they have like some type of money, or it's not like they're the most educated in the room. They carry themselves, not arrogantly. I'm not talking about arrogance here. They carry themselves with just a confidence of sufficiency. That is what happened when you understand that me delivering a value to someone that already has does not take away from me. It does not make me too given. It actually does a lot more benefit to you than the person. Because remember, the person has 1,000. And if you give them 100 or they pay for the 100, they will still have 900. So regardless, they will still have more than you because you have 500. The thing about delivering value is, if you deliver value, you stay at the same level or you have more. You don't have less. Oh, I want you to get what I'm telling you. Whenever you look to deliver value, you increase. Inevitably, you increase. But in that moment, it may seem like you're still at the same spot. What am I saying? Whenever you feel comparison, if it is someone you have access to, look for things that is of value to them that you have the skill for and deliver it to them. It is an immediate boost of self-value. It is an immediate boost of self-acknowledgement because it shows that you are conscious of the value that you carry, that you're not just a subordinate. You're not lower than. You don't put yourself in a smaller position of hierarchy in contrast to them or their accomplishments or whatever is making you feel that comparison. So let's do a quick recap. Whenever you feel comparison, is because there is a lower perception of self-worth. Wherever we see a lower perception of self-worth in people, it comes with a lack of self-acknowledgement and it comes with scarcity mindset. Whenever you feel both or either or, you would experience comparison. For the antidote, you want to, one, ask yourself questions because it creates an open conversation. Why do I want this thing? Why do I feel these feelings? What are the desires that comes with having these things, living this lifestyle, becoming this person? If you don't ask those questions, you close yourself up. It's like locking yourself in a prison and throwing the keys away. But whenever you ask yourself questions and you are able to answer that question, then it creates solution of what you need to do. If you're not able to answer those questions, my friend, that may be covetousness. You also want to reaffirm yourself. You want to understand that you're a person of value. You don't have what they have because you have a different journey. You are in a different season. You have different capacity. You have different skills. You may eventually get that same thing, but as of right now, honor your journey. And lastly, you want to engage in something that I call the elevation of consciousness through value delivery. There is something in you that can add to that person, especially if that person is in your inner circle. It does more benefit to you than them. If you're able to apply these three things, you're not only going to conquer comparison and have the toolkits to deal with it whenever it shows up, but you would also be the most confident version of yourself. This version of you is the version that people are going to draw towards, is the version that would be comfortable in any room, whether you are with millionaires or you are with the movers and the shakers of your community. This version of you is the version that you would fall in love with again and again and again. So, my friend, this is the end of today's episode, The Antidote to Comparison. I am your host, Juliet Olabanji, and you're listening to the Made for Influence podcast. I have changed the handle of my social media. It's now Executed by Her on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. So make sure you check out Executed by Her. ER room is open and you are welcome. We are going to have the operation room, literally, for those visions that have been long shelved. Make sure you share this with 2 of your friends or even drop it in your group chat. Send it to a family member, someone that needs to hear this, because comparison should not be a social epidemic. It should not be a plague that happened to us women. It should be something that is just passing by and we should not even pay that much attention to, because we know that there is a confident woman in there. There is a woman that is sure of her identity in there. There's a woman that carries herself because she knows her self-worth. So therefore, comparison has no room. I'll see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.